So, what brings you in today?
Well, my doctor sent me to see a psychiatrist, and I got diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of got a pretty good idea what that means, I think. I've been online, I've hit some websites, I've done some reading. I understand that this is more neurological
It is.
than psychological. And I'm slowly making sense of the whole thing. But it's creating some issues at home because my husband is
Yeah. All right. Sorry, your husband.
my husband is federal law enforcement, and he works in the big local prison,
Right.
and he's got a couple of mental health units. So he's got to lack of a better word, the crazies of the crazies and the bad of the bad.
So he's got some difficult people.
Yes.
Challenging people.
And so I've wanted to talk to him about this and tell him, how I'm feeling and what's going on and that kind of thing. And he's like, oh, I deal with this all the time. Don't worry about it. I understand it completely. And I'm thinking, well, great. So now you're comparing me to,
Comparing you to an inmate?
Yeah, comparing me to an inmate. And, and the thing is that I'm sure there are inmates in the prison that have bipolar 2, but the ones that he's talking about, I mean, these are people that have huge issues and very severe and evil backgrounds in a lot of ways. And so, and then he's working 12 and 13-hour days. And so by the time he gets home and all of that, it's like, I'm done. I don't want to sit around and talk, and I'm tired. And so, there we sit, and it's like this sort of cloud hovering over that, this unspoken.
So it's this point you're hitting almost every single day where you can't really get beyond it.
And
okay.
And I try and get him to, hey, let's look at this article or read this, or I'd like to look at this or talk about this, and he just, I'll get a couple of minutes of conversation out of him, and that's it.
Okay.
Phew, sorry.
So, do you think there's a reason why he could be doing that?
Like I said, I think a lot of it is that he's just decided that he knows what's going on, and he doesn't know what's going on. And I mean, it's not like I'm not an inmate. I raised 5 kids. I homeschooled them all.
Right.
I got, 3 of them have college educations. One of them is a Marine. One of them is just.
Right. So you've been very successful. And
and
you manage well despite everything.
And they'll tell you I'm a really good mom, except for those weird times that I'm just frustrated and overwhelmed.
Right. And which is understandable with what you're dealing with.
And I think it's really helped them, because now they can look back and go, oh, that's what was happening. Mom's just not nuts.
Right. So on one hand, your kids are good. They're kind of going, oh, this makes sense. And then your husband, maybe he's a little anxious. Maybe it's making him a little uncomfortable.
I don't think it's that. It's more of a, I got this. I know what's happening.
The reason why I say maybe he's a little uncomfortable is sometimes when people are uncomfortable with things, they manifest, especially when, and like you've told me before that your husband is very much a alpha male, your words used.
Yes.
And so when you end up with these individuals that they don't necessarily want to acknowledge that they're uncomfortable with something, sometimes they come off like they fully understand it and they're perfectly okay with it.
Yeah. I mean,
you think that's something you could be doing?
That could be part of it, and sometimes it just kind of seems like the loyalties lie in the wrong spots.
People do tend to get caught in their work sometimes.
Yeah.
I know it's something as a counselor we have to watch for too,
Mm-hmm.
not to get too caught up in our work. But so what are you feeling about all this? What's your thought? Do you think that maybe he's slightly uncomfortable? Maybe he doesn't understand things as much as he thinks he does?
I guess I hadn't really thought about it. The problem is that I don't really know how to get around that, if that's what's going on.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the other problem is that, you know, it's okay if he's okay with it, but this is new to me, and I'm not necessarily okay with it yet.
Right. So
And I'm still trying to figure out my way and feel my way and figure out how this is all working.
okay. So is it that he's decided he's comfortable with it, but you're not, so that's bothering you a little
Well,
bit?
yeah, and I don't feel like I'm getting support.
Okay, so you don't feel like he's hearing you at all?
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm
Okay.
getting the support I need.
All right.
So,
All right.
you know, and he doesn't have any problems telling me, well, this is what you do or this is what you do, but, you know, and he's been kind of good about saying, you know, you're doing okay, you're doing
Okay.
all right.
So he is doing some things good. There are
Yeah.
some things that
Uh-huh.
he's doing. Now, with the things he's asking, you know, you doing okay? You know, are those the things that you guys have had a little bit of a chance to talk about?
Just a touch.
Okay.
We did go out to dinner one night and spend some time talking, you know, and it was kind of half and half. It was, you know, what's going on with me and then what's going on with him. And
Right.
so,
Right.
you know, and I know things are chaotic at work, and I don't blame him for that. I understand it. It's just where he is.
But it's also understandable why you're feeling maybe a little bit, you know, neglected.
Grouchy.
Okay, grouchy. All right. And so, you know, it seems like obviously you guys aren't getting that situation to talk about it very much. You said that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you think that there's anything that you could do to kind of, I don't know, write letters or something you could hand him while he's at work that he could read? Maybe an email?
I have to be careful with email because everything goes through a federal email system.
Okay.
And so we may not want things on a permanent record.
Gotcha. Okay, all right.
that
So-
could be a problem.
So it's not necessarily as discreet as you might want.
Right, and we've done the letter thing before, and it does work well, except that he's been so busy that he doesn't really have time, you know, to do it. Hi, it's my daughter.
hi.
So, and my granddaughter. So
Okay,
she's
all right.
just
But okay, so
she's cute, right?
she is. Sorry about that. Okay, so the letter thing isn't necessarily something you can do as much. Now, just to maybe throw out a counter thought out there. Okay,
Mhm.
if you couldn't necessarily do the letters work, what's something you could do to kind of maybe if you could think of a way to help communication at all? Can you think of anything?
I don't know. I think going out to dinner helped.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like if we just got a little more time, to talk, that would be helpful.
Okay.
You know, and
Have you tried going on walks in the evening or for a
yeah,
drive?
that's a lot of fun as long as it's not 35 degrees.
Right, this is why we recommended the drive. Which,
Yeah.
you know, can still save money.
Drives we just haven't had time.
Right. So
Haven't had
things
time to do.
Things are hectic, things are crazy. You've got all these changes going on,
Mm-hmm.
and you really don't feel like he's got time for you, even though you understand that he's really busy.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
do. I mean, I get it. I've been doing this a long time, and I realized that this particular assignment was gonna be a doozy.
Right. So you knew what you were signing up for.
I knew what we were
but-
signing up for, and the thing is, we've never done a doozy like this.
Okay.
And I know that once this assignment is over, it's gonna go back to a little more normal.
Right. Well, and suddenly getting a diagnosis after a lot of difficulty of trying to get something and people throwing you through a ringer, it's really understandable why you would be sitting here kind of overwhelmed and looking at it because
Mhm.
now something that you've been struggling with becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that's kind of what you've been feeling?
Yeah, I was reading this article, and they were talking about how this is like getting hit in the face with a really big spider that's not going anywhere.
So it kind of latches on.
It kind of latches on,
That's
and
scary.
it's what you do. You know,
Right.
this is the way it's going to be. And oh, by the way, it's not going anywhere, and you may as well name the spider.
Lovely middle image. Okay, cool. All right. So, what's something? I have an idea. Okay. Sometimes, in order to get communication going, you really need. Sometimes couples need a catalyst, something to kind of help guide them through a process.
Mhm.
Sometimes we do couples counseling, but obviously your husband works so busy that I don't even know if you'd have time for that. So maybe I had read your file and I thought that this might be useful. This is a book on bipolar disorder. It's called Loving Someone with Bipolar Disorder.
Mhm.
If you want to take a look at that, and I understand your husband's busy, so maybe this could be a guiding tool for your conversations, even the little bit that you do get during the evenings. You think that something like that could help?
It actually it might, because we're both readers.
Okay, maybe it's
And
something
so-
you can read or you both can read.
Yeah, and so maybe it's something to kind of give us a platform.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. You could see about discussing this with your husband, but
Okay.
try reading a chapter of that.
Okay.
Maybe two, and if you read more, you read more.
Okay.
But at minimum, a chapter before our next session.
Okay.
Come back, we'll talk about it, we'll see what you think. If the book isn't working, if it's not, if it's, if you try to talk to your husband about it, he's just like, no, we'll try to find something else to work with. But this might give you some place to start.
Okay.
Do you think that would help?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
So I can take this?
Yeah, but I've got, I think, 7 or 8 copies of that.
Okay.
So,
Oh, good.
it's,
It's
my-
not just me.
my mother had me read it in my undergraduate, and it was a fantastic book.
Okay.
But
Great.
So maybe that'll help. Maybe
Okay.
it can give you something to start conversation, and if it doesn't, we'll look at another way to go about things.
Okay.
You know,
That sounds good.
as I've said, this is flexible. We ebb and flow as you need to. We don't have to stick with one pair of shoes.
Okay.
So
Good. I like shoes. Sorry.
it's just fine. All right.
Okay.
Well, sadly, we're out of time.
Yeah,
here.
I know.
So,
I know. So okay.
Let's take your homework, and if you have any questions throughout the week, you can write them down, put them on notes, anything
Okay.
that comes to mind, and just kind of keep a journal of what you're reading and your thoughts on the book, and then
Okay.
we can use those as discussion points throughout the session if you want, and kind of go from there. Does that
Okay.
sound like it would work?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. All right,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have
All
a
right.
great week.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Okay.